Okay, hi everyone. This is Maria Mazziotti Gillen, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Poetry Center. And I'm very pleased to welcome you here to the Distinguished Poet Series at Passaic County Community College. Today we're very happy to have Beth Ann Fennelly uh, as our featured reader. And Beth Ann has published three poetry books: Open House, Tender Hooks, and Unmentionables, all with W. W. Norton. She's the author of three books of prose: Heating and Cooling, 52 micro memoirs, Great with Child, Letters to a Young Mother, a collection of essays, and The Tilted World, a novel co-authored with her husband, Tom Franklin. Beth Ann's poetry has been in over 50 anthologies, including Best American Poetry, a book of Irish American poetry uh, from the 18th century to the present, Poets of the New Century, and the Penguin Book of the Sonnet. She teaches in the MFA program at the University of Mississippi, where she was named Outstanding Teacher of the Year. And we're very happy to have her have given a workshop for us, which was brilliant. And let's welcome Beth Ann to the reading.
Thank you, Maria, so much for that lovely introduction. And thank you all for being here to listen to me today. I really appreciate that. I'm going to start with a poem that I chose because I was thinking that the people who'd come to my workshop, who might be hanging out to listen, you know, so many of us are involved in this process of not just loving poetry, but trying to write it. And this piece is called When Did You Know You Wanted to Be a Writer? And I wrote it a couple years ago when I was going to teach at a conference in Florida, and my husband was with me, and we had our young kids. And so we brought my mom to help out with the kids while we were teaching. And she wanted to come to a reading. So I asked the college down there if they had any recommendations of babysitters, and they recommended this sweet girl. She came over, she was great. But I did have a little anxiety about leaving my kids with somebody I don't know. And I realized during that panel, when someone asked the panelists, when did you know you wanted to be a writer, that I didn't really have a great answer for that story. I couldn't pinpoint the exact moment in my childhood that I knew I wanted to be a writer. And it kind of bothered me. But later on, I realized my anxiety about leaving my children with someone I don't know has to do with the fact that I once had a babysitter when I was a girl whose boyfriend came over and took us out on his motorcycle, which was the most exciting thing that had ever happened to me in my life. And telling my mom the next day was the moment I remember telling a story when I realized I should stop, but I couldn't. The story was too good. And I think maybe that's when I started understanding the power of story and words. So this is that. When did you know you wanted to be a writer? Mal babysat just the one time for my older sister and me, but I think of it often, strangely often. And each time I do, I'm lifted onto the warm motorcycle for the ride that's lasted now for 30 years. My mother, home early, found Mal straddling her boyfriend, him thumbing her nipples the way a safecracker works the tumblers, such pants, pants, panting on the couch. They didn't hear the door, my mother's gasp. Mallory, who went by Mal, which even then I knew somehow meant bad. But fun, the funnest sitter ever, I whispered as she kissed me night-night. Never again, my mother vowed the next morning over cornflakes, inviting her boyfriend over. Imagine, never again. Is that why we ratted? Why we told Mom about the motorcycle? because there was nothing to lose. My sister, forever in trouble, was merely glad to see someone else deep in it. And I was the good child and wary of secrets, but that's not it either. Even as I began unfurling the verbal tapestry, I knew I should stop and could not. I told of how, our bedtime nearing, love boat ending, Brendan pulled up before our picture window, swung his leg off his motorcycle, and how Mal ran to where he was tilting it on its kickstand, and how Julie and I, barefoot in white nighties, followed outside into the June heat where the engine ticked percussion to the cicadas' mating song. Did we ask, or did he offer? I remember being lifted up, set down, my left cheek pressed against his back, which smelled like a man, like cut grass and sweat. And the motorcycle coltishly leaping forward and kicking up gravel as we pulled onto the road, the mailboxes falling behind us, fast, then faster, my hair blown back as if yanked by an angry brush, and the asphalt rising as we dipped too fast into a turn, and how we righted and kept on. Above us, strange black scissors swooped. These were not the birds I knew, not crows, not sparrows. Bats, yelled Brendan over his shoulder. Bats diving for mosquitoes. All my known neighborhood, grown alien to me then, in the gray and shuddering wind. Bats, my poor mother repeated the next morning at the table where we'd eaten potato salad hours after Mal took it from the fridge, where Brendan had winked, slid his hand in her jean pocket, where Mal urged before putting us down way past bedtime, don't tell your mother. Too late. Too late. Pretty Mallory. First casualty of my crafty pleasure. Already I was gathering scraps of phrases, weaving my story of someone gone bad. I thought I'd read this one that is kind of about the danger about writing about people that you know, your family in particular. And I wrote about my kids when they were itty bitty, and they couldn't read, so I wasn't too worried about it. And people started asking me what was I going to do when my kids got to be teenagers, and I realized they were going to hate me. And so I wrote about that. Because people ask what my daughter will think of my poems when she's 16. Daughter, the light of the future is apricot, and in it you are not the thy child, pointing her earnest index finger to the yellow balloon clearing the willows and drifting higher. You're the balloon. I'm the ooh in balloon. I'll meet you there. I'm the brown strings, formerly violets, you didn't water. I'm the hole in the photo. You're the unsafety scissors. I'm the lint in the corners of my purse after you steal the coins. Brown bag lunch you pitch after leaving my house. Buttons you undo after I've okayed your blouse. Poems you burn in the sink. Poems that had to go and use your name. Never mind that soon you'd be 16, hate your name. I'm the resemblance you deny. Fat ass you hope your boyfriends never see. I'll meet you there. That is my promise and my threat. With this yellow balloon as my witness. Even if I'm dead, I'll meet you there. So there's actually a tornado warning where I am right now, even though it's nice and sunny outside. And I thought I'd actually read a strange piece. It's not very narrative. But I decided to read it because in the poetry workshop we just finished, I was talking about the importance of sound. And in this piece, I was trying to convey the disruption of a tornado that was taking place as I got some potentially bad news. And the piece is really scattered all over the page. It's supposed to evoke the feel of a tornado. We'd been drinking champagne when I found it. Like a man clearing the table with his backhand, this lightning. This is the rotation of concern, Weatherman says, pointing to a milky swirl before the box goes black. Attack. Good line for a pantoum, I think. You add vinegar to boiling water to poach eggs, then swirl a churning well, crack the egg in quick so it cooks tight. This is the rotation of, we are poached in this black box, outside the black night boils, cracks. What separates? X of masking tape on the windows. Hurricane proof. This is a warning from your emergency broadcast. Lightning makes glass when it strikes sand. Lightning strikes twice at times. When poaching, you don't want legs of egg, sloppy strings. That's why you carve a well into the water. On Monday, the doctor will x-ray, say the fibrous lump I found some hours ago on my breast, left mass 12 o'clock, he'll note on the bill, is but a cyst. Cross my heart. As yet, I don't know this or anything much. This is the rotation of, this is the rotation of, this is the rotation of concern. Hey, hey. The doom pantoum. This is a warning from before the storm. We'd been dining on the deck. Champagne, why not? We thought like that then. Champagne for all my real friends and real pain for all my sham friends. My Irish grandmother used to toast. Died of cancer. Breast. How all this started. Do you remember? Your watch beeped the hour, and a lightning bug fell into my well of champagne. Hey. Okay, so I'm switching from that book of poems to some micro memoirs. I'm reading from this cute little book, Heating and Cooling, 52 micro memoirs. What I was trying to do in this book is take what I love from the different genres. So from poetry, I love that extreme compression and abbreviation. And from fiction, I like creating a narrative arc. And from nonfiction, I like truth-telling. So these are very small, true stories about my life. And they're written in sentences, so it does look like prose. Married love. In every book my husband's written, a character named Colin suffers a horrible death. This is because my boyfriend, before I met my husband, was named Colin. In addition to being named Colin, he was Scottish and an architect. So you understand my husband's feelings of inadequacy. My husband cannot build a tall building of many stories. He can only build a story and then push Colin out of it. One thing that was really fun for me in this book was seeing how short I could go. I have a lot of one-sentence pieces that were fun to write, and so I thought I'd share some of those with you. I come from a long line of modest achievers. I'm fond of recalling how my mother is fond of recalling how my great-grandfather was the very first person to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge on the second day. Mommy wants a glass of Chardonnay. If you collected all the drops of days I've spent singing row, row, row your boat to children fighting sleep, you'd have an ocean big enough to drown them many times over. Why I'm switching salons. We can put on a top coat with glitter, said the manicurist. We've noticed you like attention. Horrible. So there's a married love theme that runs throughout this book because, I was thinking our culture doesn't actually have a great ethos for appreciating the love of people who've been kind of hanging out day after day, like long married or long partnered up. We celebrate unrequited love or first love, but I think married love can be kind of funny. So married love 2. There will come a day, let it be many years from now, when our kids realize no married couple ever needed to retreat at high noon behind a locked bedroom door to discuss taxes. And this is the last one I'll read from that sequence, Married Love 4. Morning. Bought a bag of frozen peas to numb my husband's sore testicles after his vasectomy. Evening. Added thawed peas to our pasta carbonara. All right. And then I have my big binder. This is going to be my new book. It's called The Irish Goodbye Micro Memoirs. So some of them are quite short, like those little sentence ones. And some of them are a little bit longer, a couple pages or more even. The book is coming out in a year. It's supposed to be coming out in March of 2026. So I'm really, really, really excited that book is going to be in the world. And you, my friends, are going to hear something that's never been read aloud before to anyone but myself. I thought I would read this. It's called Making Plans with Friends. In college, Lloyd was perfect boyfriend material. Sweet, smart, funny, and handsome. But you never dated. No chemistry. Instead, you became friends. In those days, you were always buffeted about by love, alternating unsuitable boyfriends with unrequited crushes. Meanwhile, you watched your roommates happily pairing off. Your despair arose not so much from the prospect of being single forever as from the prospect of never having children. Even then, you stared at babies in the grocery store. Lloyd, meanwhile, was enduring his own bad luck in love. You'd commiserate, exchange war stories.
Lloyd also wanted a family and was beginning to doubt its likelihood, which was crazy. Anyone could see he'd make a great husband and father. At some point, one of you, and now it's been 35 years, so neither of you can quite remember who, came up with the plan. You'd continue putting yourselves out there, sure, but if you were losers and loveless at 30, an age that seemed almost impossibly geriatric, you'd meet up and mess around until you had kids. You kept this plan from your roommates, but sometimes when you and Lloyd were alone, one would allude to it and the other would grin. Of course, in time, you both found great spouses and had 3 kids apiece. But for years, the two of you, goal-oriented and type A, took comfort from the plan. And now you have an updated plan. Again, kept from your roommates. For the past several years, you and Lloyd have watched Alzheimer's avalanche your mothers, have watched it bury them alive. When others ask how your mom is doing, you always say she's fine, because the truth is too ugly. You reserve the ugly truth for Lloyd. You commiserate, exchange war stories. When he phoned last month to say his mother had finally died, he had the grace not to be shocked when these words tumbled from your mouth. I'm jealous. All he said was, I know, honey. I know. So he remains your perfect collaborator. 100 times when talking about the drawn out misery of these deaths, you've vowed to each other, not me, not like that. You've given serious consideration to alternatives and have both communicated your wishes. Lloyd, gun. You, pills. But what if, when the time comes, his finger is too weak to pull the trigger? What if you can't find the pills or remember to swallow them? Relax. Your former future baby daddy turned current future murderer is on the case. It's nice to make plans with friends. And this is an addendum to that piece. Oh, I just saw someone applaud. That was cute. This is an addendum to that piece, so it comments on that. It's also in the married love sequence. Married love. Addendum to making plans with friends. You know, it would never actually come to that, says your husband. Why not, you ask? You don't think Lloyd would murder me? It's not that. It's that, well, if you needed murdering, I'd be the one to murder you. Oh, sweetheart, you say, you could never murder me. You love me too much to murder me. No, your husband says, I love you so much that I would murder you. It would have to be me with you at the very end, murdering you. That's the most romantic thing, you say, and mean it. And then you both laugh for a long time. This is called Two Sisters, One Thinner, One Better Dressed. When my sister and I
would meet at her apartment before heading out to bars. I would choose my clothes with care. I knew that when I walked through her door, she would study me, especially if a few weeks or more had passed since we'd seen each other. Sisters are envious, sure, but we were also gathering information. We shared a likeness, so it was a way to test how we'd fare in a different outfit, a new haircut. She was often thinner than I was, but I had better style. Younger by 2 years, I was her leader only in fashion. I would often be wearing something she hadn't yet considered. She would ask me where I got it, and I would tell her, maybe showing off a little. Sometimes she'd want to try it on, and I would accessorize her, cuff her jeans, or ankle the belt on her hips. If she asked, we'd swap outfits for the night. It was worth being the frumpier one to make her happy. I'm still aware of how I look when I visit her. I live in a different state now, so it's not as often. But when I'm back in Illinois at our mom's house, I always end my run by visiting her. I stand panting in the grass at my sister's feet. I'm aware of how she sees me, puffing clouds from my lungs, my legs strong, my skin bright with sweat in my new running clothes. Still showing off, I suppose, as she's stuck wearing the navy suit I chose the last time I styled her. A suit now 13 years outdated, though fashionable enough when they closed her casket. And I'm going to end with something a little bit lighter than that. You'll probably be glad to hear. This is my last piece, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for your kind attention today. It's been lovely to visit with you. Married love, playing the long game. Even now, 3 years later, when she opens the drawer beside the stove for an oven mitt, she finds the oven mitts folded. This is because 3 years earlier, during an intense game of scattergories, when the category was things you fold, and the letter was O, her husband had written oven mitts. Nobody folds oven mitts, she scoffed, and refused him his point, forcing him ever since to prove it. Yay, thank you so much. That's it from me today. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That was just fantastic. What a great writer you are and a wonderful reader. It was very moving and funny and very wonderful, very wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And I hear a lot of poetry, and I've been doing this almost for 45 years.
Wow.
So I've heard a lot of poetry over that time, and this was a beautiful reading, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I'm glad that you were able to join us. And I think the rest of the people who were in your workshop and who stayed for the reading would agree with me that you are a really amazing poet. And I'm looking forward to your next book.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Cynthia, you want to let us out, honey? She's there. Because
I am not a co-host of this meeting, so that would have to be Susan to let us out.
But I think that Beth is a co-host.
Okay.
The reading is still going on, so I'm not, remember there's that delay and it looks like she's still
Oh, she's still
reading,
reading.
so
sorry.
I'm not, I can, I think I can end the, let's just not end the Zoom reading. I'm not sure if I can. And then, but if everybody wants to go, they can, and I'll end the meeting when I see that she's done.
Okay, thanks, Sue.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Beth Ann.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Maria. Thank you all
Take
so much.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're wonderful. Enjoy your time with your husband.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Recording stopped.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all. I guess I'll head out too, but I enjoyed myself so much. Thanks again.
Thank
Bye.
you
Thank
so much,
you.
Beth Ann. Happy early St. Patty's.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Happy early St. Patrick's Day.
I'm going to go celebrate. Thank you.
Great.
Take care, Cynthia.
All right, thanks.
Bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Maria.
honey. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right, both. You
Bye-bye.
can
You too, Maria.
too. Thank you. You too, honey. Oh. Okay. Alexa, call Nino caretaker.
Maria, we could still hear you. She's still going. I'm not sure why this is so delayed this time, but
Oh, all right. So you can still hear.
You should just
You
leave.
hear me
Just-
moaning? 'Cause
Yes, just leave, Maria, otherwise you'll be on the live stream.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, bye, Maria.
Bye, honey. Thank you. Alexa, call Nino caretaker, please.
Maria, you're still on.
I'm sorry.
Can you
Doc.
press leave?
I gotta find the thing first.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why this is doing this.
I think I might still be on there. And I don't intend to be. Let's go, honey. Oh, I'm speeding like mala.
CPD.